my recollection was that you had a very loyal customer base and therefore you had pretty limited churn. People really did like what they were receiving. Is that the case? You had a sticky, repeatable, paying customer base?
Very first customer I got on the 18th of December 2016 is still a member today.
Yes. Welcome everyone to another episode of Humans of Flippa. It's a series where we talk to some of the great business operators who have either bought or sold on the Flippa platform, had a good experience doing so, and ultimately found their pathway to an exit. Today, I'm joined by Owen Walker. Owen founded a awesome website and science blog, or software as a service, I think we could probably even say, but he'll talk about the business model in a moment. But very, very big welcome to Owen Walker, the founder and prior owner of Science for Sport. Welcome, Owen.
Cheers, Blake. Obviously honoured really for you pick me, have me on. And yeah, just as a pointer straight to you, like my experience with Flippa was brilliant as well. So I'm more than happy to jump on and talk to future buyers and future sellers and so on.
Can we just talk a little bit about Science for Sport, what it is, what it was, and why you started it in the first place, a little bit about your background?
So Science for Sport really is a sports science education website. So that basically goes back when I first started. The reason I come up with the idea in the first place is when I was studying sports science, this is going right back now, doing my undergraduate degree in 2010. There wasn't really anywhere you could go to online to learn about sports science when it comes to me writing my essays and, you know, sort of doing my research for any of my coursework and stuff. And I saw other websites, and I saw like bodybuilding.com, and it always stuck me. I think he was either 21 when he sold it, or he's 21 when he started it. And I think that the exit was something like 100 million. And I was always thinking, like, how can a website sort of be valued like at that? This is going right the way back, right? At 2010 is when I started the degree. So I started to have these ideas maybe like 2012, 2013. And just thought, if that's one for bodybuilding, then and that's the only place we could really find any information at the time. Yep. So I thought, why not do one for sports science to help myself and other coaches learn the sort of stuff we needed to, because otherwise it was all just in textbooks or in very hard to understand and hard to access academic journals. Anyone who's kind of gone through university will know about the academic journals, just how difficult they are to access and how costly they are as well. So that sort of brought the idea about, you know, the combination of wanting to help myself and help other coaches understand that, and then just have a website and, you know, be a founder and start a business.
Fantastic. So what year was that? What year was the site actually up and running?
It took me a few years, really. Like it's always just in the head, you know, you've got this idea and you formulate it. So I didn't actually start the website, and it's funny because I had no idea what I was doing from day dot, like about business at all. 2016, April 2016 is the date I launched the actual website. So 6 years. I was like 6 years to the month. I launched the website. I had no products. I didn't know what to sell. I just thought I'll figure it out as time goes on. I'll just get traffic to the website, develop a brand and develop a name, and I'll figure something out as we go. And then December 2016, I launched the product, and it went from there. It's a subscription product.
My recollection of Science for Sport as an outstanding asset when it came and listed on Flippa was how credible the user base was. You were getting, I guess, leading sports teams, doctors, physios, correct me if I'm wrong here, coming to the site and using you as a resource. So what was it about Science for Sport that was so attractive to this leading network of sports scientists and doctors?
I'd say that the kind of faculty of writers that we had. So, I mean, I'm qualified sports scientist sort of by trade, you know, did undergraduate degree, did a master's degree, did my supporting certifications. I've worked as a sports scientist for a Premier League football club. So I would write little bits. So I guess in that sense, when I started and I was doing the majority, there was a degree of credibility from my end. But what I quickly realized is if you want to build and scale a business and kind of free up your time, you have to work on the business rather than in it. So I knew I couldn't be always the one producing and writing the articles or recording the videos and stuff. And I also knew if I wanted it to be bigger than that, I had to bring in a solid team as well. So I basically just reached out and hired freelance contractors as writers, to produce the blog content, the monthly magazine that we sold as well, and then eventually the online video courses. I like the online business model and only released the magazine as a digital PDF, basically, and put it out each month like that. You're paying for access to the monthly magazine, and it would obviously then come monthly. So we started off in the early phases charging £5 Great British pounds a month, so it must have been about $7 US. At this point in time, it's $30 US a month. Yeah, monthly magazine on a subscription basis as well, because I wanted the sticky revenue of a monthly recurring revenue sort of business model type.
My recollection was that you had a very loyal customer base and therefore you had pretty limited churn. People really did like what they were receiving. Is that the case? You had a sticky, repeatable, paying customer base?
The very first customer I got on the 18th of December 2016 is still a member today.
Yes. So fast forward to the moment you contemplated selling it. What was the reason why you wanted to pursue an exit?
The reason I listed it in the first place, the best way to probably answer the question is to go back to the reason I listed it in the first place. And it was a bit of a win-win experiment in my mind. And the reason being was the first win, if I listed it and nobody wanted to buy it, I got to quickly find out why they didn't want to buy it and what the problems were in the business, so I could plug those holes and build a more attractive business to be sold, but also to grow. Because any potential buyers could quickly point out holes and say, look, you got to look at your churn rates all over the place. Like ours wasn't really, but that's an example, right? Or it might be your traffic's horrendous or this and that. And those problems I could have easily rectified and kind of sorted out then and there. And the second win really was if someone wanted to buy it for a price I was willing to pay for it, then that too is a win, right? So I saw no possible loss of listing it, because just because you list it doesn't mean you need to sell it. And it kind of, it did get a lot of attention. And actually turned into a little bit of a bidding war at the end, which was quite cool. For me, in the next journey I take, next business I start, is to start with the end in mind. So you start building a business from scratch that you can sell. You don't have to sell it, but you can sell it. And so you build it in that manner.
Yeah. What did you learn about the exit process? I mean, if you've got someone on Flippa right now considering listing a similar type business to yours, what did you learn through that process?
You're going to get asked a lot of questions.
Yeah,
rightly so. Most commonly asked questions I put onto a Google Doc, and so what I did was in the description at the bottom of the listing said, if you've got questions, click this and check it's in there. And so the buyers would go there, and I detailed everything out very, very clearly, and then they could book a thing with me. So my advice to people selling in the future is make it as easy as possible for yourself, so you don't answer the same question 50 times. Like external link to documents like that covers the FAQs, and be as transparent as possible. Obviously, all buyers want to know is what's really going on inside. Like if you try and put up smokes and mirrors, then it's just going to make them maybe not want to buy it. And if there is a problem in the business, if you're transparent about it, they likely won't care either. Do you know what I mean? They might care, but they also might not. And the fact that you've been honest about it gives them more trust in the product that they're buying. Were
you required to stay on for a little bit?
They asked me to stay on. I don't know if it would have absolutely been part of the acquisition contract, but they asked me to stay on as part of it, and I agreed to it. So as far as I know, everybody's happy with the acquisition on their end. the team they've brought in to now kind of take charge of it, and the extra team members and full-time resources they've been putting into it has been quite substantial. So they're obviously very serious about it and stayed serious about it ever since the acquisition. So yeah, everybody seems happy.
I was going to ask you, what's next for you, but it sounds like you've just answered that question, because you've asked them whether they're happy with it and whether they're happy with you. You're the key man, so says the contract. So you're going to continue on at this leading sports tech firm. Is that what's going to happen?
Up until, so the exit was November 2020, 2-year contract, so it puts us to November 2022. So I've got how many months that is left? 7 months, 6 months. I will stay on if they want me to stay on. I'll be happy to. I do it on a part-time basis because I like to keep a very nice work-life balance. Yep. I just want to try and maintain some sort of balance between optimizing what I can get out of life and the experiences I can have personally, and what I can get out of business from a career standpoint, financially, whatever it be. I'm also looking for new opportunities. I have other investments and stuff I do on the side, but I will look to start something else.
I was just about to say, as a human of Flippa, I've got no doubt that you are either invested in something else or about to start something else. Are you more of a starter or more of an investor these days?
I'll do something else. I do invest. Like pretty much everything I've made to date has been invested. It's just the enjoyment of it. It's the thrill of it. And I know, like, when I spoke to particular people during the acquisition, someone telling me majority was saying don't sell it because of what it could have become. The company had like brilliant brand authority in a very fast growing market and stuff like that. And pros and cons, you sell, you don't sell. But I think just the thrill of it, that's where it stands for me, and the excitement of doing something else. So I will at some point. Right now, I'm happy just chilling and taking my time, I suppose. You always need that sort of down period, don't you?
Yeah, with that in mind, I want to thank you, Owen, for your time today, part of Humans of Flippa, a series that you can find on the Flippa blog. Owen was the proud owner of Science for Sport. You can still go and check that out, I presume, Owen, at scienceforsport.com. Is that how you would still find the asset?
Correct, yeah. And we got a lot of the other digital assets as well, like the Instagram and the podcast and all that stuff that go onto it. I think when you go to the website, it's probably the most basic looking, all the other digital assets that go with it. But yeah, thank you very much. And like I said, I love what you've done with Flippa, and obviously it helped me out massively. It was the intermediary for me to exit and all that stuff. So thank you very much. Thanks for having me.